Theology has been taught at Aberdeen for over 5 centuries, and this heritage continues to inform a learning environment where rigorous intellectual inquiry is paired with a genuine openness to new ideas and scholarship. We're traditional yet innovative. The strength of the Department of Divinity at Aberdeen is recognised nationally and internationally for the department's research and its impact, student satisfaction, and our ability to attract students from all over the world.
Our Master's in Theology is an excellent choice for anyone wanting to deepen their knowledge and expertise in the study of Christian theology and the Bible. The program is very flexible, allowing students to construct pathways of study around their own interests. Students can opt for the general pathway, in which they can cover all major areas of theology, or choose one of our specialist pathways to have a particular focus on biblical studies, church history, theological ethics, or systematic theology.
Studying theology at Aberdeen places you within a vibrant community of researchers and students who share a commitment to academic excellence and reflective engagement. Our programs offer flexibility, allowing you to explore your chosen area of interest while being mentored by scholars at the forefront of their fields. Small, seminar-based teaching ensures that your voice is heard and that your intellectual journey is shaped by meaningful conversations. Our teaching environment is an excellent place to explore new ideas and to develop your own academic voice.
Studying at the University of Aberdeen gives you access to our historic Divinity library, where I'm sitting today, as well as a range of research centers, such as the Center for Texts and Images in Antiquity, the Aberdeen Center for Protestant Theology, or the Center for Autism and Theology. We also encourage you to engage with other disciplines in the wider university. For example, through the Interdisciplinary Institute, focusing on cultural diversity and social inclusion.
We really value our postgraduate students and recognise that they're a large part of what makes us who we are. Graduates from our programmes pursue a wide range of careers, including ministry, education, chaplaincy, public service, NGO work, and doctoral research. The analytical, ethical, and communication skills gained here serve students well in many professional paths.
I'm Professor John Bear. My area of expertise is the early church fathers and historical theology. Our Master's in Theology, with a focus on church history, focuses on the study of historical theology, which really is indispensable for understanding the Christian faith and roots of theological reflection in the living tradition that shaped it. Theology is not simply an abstract system constructed from timeless propositions, but a dynamic encounter with Christ as witnessed by the apostles and interpreted by the early church and continually reflected upon thereafter. Studying historical theology allows us to see how the earliest Christians read Scripture, articulated doctrine, and lived out the mystery of Christ in their own contexts. This in turn opens up a deeper appreciation for the coherence and vitality of the Christian tradition. C.S. Lewis, in his introduction to Athanasius' work on the Incarnation, speaks forcefully of the necessity of studying historical texts. He argues that immersing ourselves in the writings of the earliest centuries liberates us from the intellectual blind spots of our own age. By reading historical texts, written by figures whose minds were shaped by different assumptions and concerns, we learn to question what we take for granted and to discern which of our current convictions are merely cultural habits rather than timeless truths. Lewis insists that old books do not simply offer quaint perspectives, they provide a kind of theological and philosophical clarity that modern works, bound by contemporary fashions, often lack. They're a blast of fresh air, cleansing away the cobwebs of our own unexamined contemporary assumptions. Engaging with the past, therefore, becomes an antidote to what he calls the characteristic errors of our own period, helping readers cultivate a more balanced, critical, and reflective approach to faith and learning. In the case of theology, this is especially important. Examining the development of theological discourse over the early centuries and beyond, we can see how, for instance, theological reflection and scriptural exegesis were bound up together, how theological insights were forged, and perhaps learn to discern what abides and what is historically contingent.
I'm Professor Brian Brock. My area of expertise is theological ethics. Christians today are used to thinking of orthodoxy as a matter of right Christian belief. But for the peoples of the Bible and for centuries of Christians, orthodoxy meant right prayer, belief, and life. Our Master's in Theology, with a focus on theological ethics, aims not to teach students how to apply Christian beliefs to life, but to show them how to better understand the ways all of our lives are expressions of some faith. Christian ethics is not only a matter of thinking theologically about the ethical hot-button debates of the day, though we will certainly show you ways to engage those debates constructively. Our aim is to show how a theologically informed engagement in any particular ethical debate needs to be resourced by knowledge of how Christians in the past harnessed what they confessed in order to navigate their own real-life questions. Doing this well begins with the understanding that ethics is much more than the application of correct ideas about God or ethical principles to life. It demands asking how our modes of praying and hoping are constantly shaping our living, and how living better might require better understanding of who God is in our world. This education proceeds by engaging the major figures who shaped Christian thinking through the ages, from the earliest church down through the medieval period and Reformation, and leading recently to the birth of Christian ethics as an academic discipline. The red thread holding this story together is the long discussions about which claims are most important from the key source for Christian ethical thinking, the Bible.
Hello, I'm Dr. Catherine Hockey. My area of expertise is biblical studies, specifically the study of the New Testament. The Bible is central to Western thought and practice and has also had a significant impact on many different cultures around the world over the centuries. Therefore, responsible and critical reading of these biblical texts remains important, particularly since the biblical material continues to be foundational and normative for many faith communities, but also because it's referenced or used in public and political discourse. Our Masters in Theology, with a focus on biblical studies, aims to help you recognize the richness yet complexity of these texts, and to be able to assess the benefits and limitations of a range of interpretive approaches. This program will give you the skills to explore the biblical material from many angles, whether literary, historical, sociological, rhetorical, philosophical, ethical, or theological. You will also become acquainted with significant scholarly debates over the centuries that have shifted, sometimes radically, how we understand these texts. You will learn to read the biblical material for yourselves and therefore develop the capacities to engage with scholarly discussion critically. Of course, any in-depth study of the biblical material requires intimate familiarity with the biblical languages, and therefore, alongside courses exploring larger themes and debates, we offer you the opportunity to develop expertise in biblical languages such as Greek, Hebrew, and Aramaic. These skills are essential for those considering doctoral level study. Since these texts are the well that later Jewish and Christian thinkers, artists, and practitioners have drawn from, a deep knowledge of the biblical material can also inform debates in other connected theological disciplines, such as systematic theology, ethics, and practical theology. In fact, the Bible has inspired many people, religious and non-religious, and as such, studying these texts allows one to engage in meaningful conversations with those working in other disciplines, such as literature and film studies and art history.
Hi, I'm Professor Philip Ziegler, and my area of expertise is systematic theology. The study of systematic theology and Christian dogmatics has long been a particular strength of the Divinity Department here at Aberdeen. At the heart of such study is the shared work of exploring and understanding the breadth and depth of Christian thought and teaching in its varied historic expressions, as well as contemporary articulations. Our experts in systematic theology have wide-ranging expertise and interests, with research focusing on modern theology, Reformation theology, as well as philosophical theology. Our approach to teaching systematics involves studying the thought of key figures who have shaped the traditions of Christian doctrine, as well as engaging with both present-day restatements of Christian faith and current scholarship that challenges traditional patterns of theological expression and argument. We're interested in pressing into the fine details of theological positions and arguments on the one hand, as well as zooming out to ask the big questions of systematic coherence, intellectual credibility, and living consequences on the other. By its nature, work in systematic theology naturally keeps company with work in closely related fields, including biblical studies, church history, ethics, and philosophy. Many students in the Masters of Theology program will combine courses in systematics with other courses from these other fields. In the end, theology is a diverse and capacious intellectual endeavor, as it concerns, as Thomas Aquinas once put it, God and all things in relation to God. As a master's student, our aim is to build up your knowledge and understanding of Christian doctrine, as well as to cultivate the skills of theological reflection, argument, and exposition. The courses in systematic theology that are offered within the program are designed to cover a range of doctrinal topics, including God, Christ, salvation, the Spirit, creation, church, and eschatology. Students are also invited to join in the regular postgraduate research seminar in theology, which involves sustained close reading and discussion of the work of notable theologians, both historic and contemporary.
When you study at the University of Aberdeen, you get access to our special university collections. Our well-known Egyptological collection includes over 4,000 objects from ancient Egypt, making it one of the largest in Scotland. The collections include also nearly 1,000 less-known items from the ancient Near East or Fertile Crescent. You can explore extraordinary objects such as cuneiform tablets with some of the oldest examples of human writing from modern-day Iraq, or 5,000-year-old pottery from Jericho, one of the oldest cities in the world. A selection of Gazan flasks from the second half of the second millennium BCE are particularly striking. These are simple objects, and it gives us a lot to think about.
For those considering postgraduate study, my advice is to be curious, open, and ready to challenge your assumptions. The programs we offer encourage both depth and breadth within a supportive academic community. If you seek a place where tradition meets innovation, Aberdeen offers you a remarkable home for your studies.